everyone, it's Rhonda here from Nelson Soapery. Today we're going to be making an absolutely beautiful soap and a massive bar of soap. So this one is going to be my raspberry cream. It is totally palm free as well, and it is also a vegan soap. So this one is really beautiful, and I know lots of wholesalers are going to love this one because, like I said, this one's palm free, which means lots and lots of people will absolutely love it. So in here, this is my massive big bucket because this is going to be 11 kilograms full of gorgeous soap, of course. So I'm just pouring in now my hard oils straight into my liquid oils that I've already popped in here as well. So my hard oils are shea butter, cocoa butter, and some coconut butter. And the brown bit that you would have seen come out of the end of the tub, that one there is actually some kaolin clay that I had already pre-mixed into my mixture as well. So make sure that you mix everything in. It's really better just to do that. And usually what I do is I put the kaolin clay and then I give it a mix with a stick blender just to make sure it is totally combined and looking gorgeous. And my liquid ingredients is my normal ingredients that I always use. And for anyone wondering, I also do always add some sodium lactate, which just does help your bar come out of the mold and make it nice and easy. So like I said, today we're going to pop everything in together, get it all organized in here, and making sure everything is at a room temperature, because that way you know it's going to play nice and everything is going to work the way you want it to work. So like I said, let's get going, and we're going to organize everything else and pop it in. Here I'm just showing you a sample that I already made. So I did make this one. I'm not going to make this new one in this red because I felt the color was really bold and it just didn't really go with my normal line. A lot of my line is a lighter color with drops of really pretty colors in them, or I do like more pastel type colors. But anyway, I decided not to do that, but I am going to be using some black activated charcoal, so that will be going into my next one. And I'm going to keep my base up a sort of a petal pink rather than this red, and then I'll also pop in some red as a drop swirl in it. So like I said, I'll have my activated charcoal, then I'll also have the burgundy kind of color as the drop swirl, and then the main part of the pink is going to be a really beautiful petal pink. But that pink does take a few days to shine because it sort of goes a bit of a muted color with the reaction of the lye. But anyway, in my little pot here, now I'm almost ready. So I have my stick blender in. This is just my cheapy $10 one. And I like to do this one sometimes every now and then just to show you that you can use, really cheap products. You don't need to be buying a $200 or $700 stick blender at all. You can just use a cheaper one. It will still do the job. The one thing that I was going to say is make sure that you are mixing until you get a trace, because if you don't, what will actually happen in the center of your soaps, you can get like a chalky kind of residue. And what that often is, it just means that it's lye heavy and the lye has not mixed in properly. It hasn't really reached the right saponification level, which means just the mixing of all the ingredients, and when they kind of go creamy, and then they're going into that soap stage, and that is all a reaction of making soap. I've made plenty of bars and I have had this happen to me a couple of times, and it's really terrible because you have to throw it out. You just can't use it, which is absolutely devastating if you're making a massive big batch. So we will make sure that we've mixed everything in and blend it quite a bit. So what you usually do is blend it a bit and then use the stick blender as a bit of a stirrer in between. And that way that you're going to, not be over mixing and not under mixing. So, and, a batch like this needs a lot more mixing than a small batch would use. A small batch, honestly, I'd only mix for less than 60 seconds. But a big one like this, it is several minutes in between, and, 3 to 5 bursts of blending as well to make sure it just reaches that light trace. So at the moment, you can see it looks this muddy, dirty color, and that's actually what happens when you're using olive oil, but it will turn beautiful. It will go a lighter color once it goes through the curing process. So never worry too much about how dark it looks, because things change. The same as some colors will actually go this terrible muted, dirty looking color, but once everything comes to it, it will be really beautiful. So don't worry about that. Now here what I've done is poured a little bit into this small bucket so it's easier to use as well. And you can see the small white bucket here. I've added a little bit of pink inside this colour, and what will happen when I mix it, it looks so ugly, but it will come a really, really light, just a very light, dusty kind of blush petal pink once it, it starts to cure. And this won't happen straight away. This particular colour I use takes at least a week to show its true colour. So I'm also adding in my fragrance. So this one is the raspberry from Pure Candle Supplies. It does not discolor. It has a tiny, tiny bit of lanolin in it, I think, or vanilla. And like I said, it really doesn't, it acts really, really nice. So don't worry about it too much at all. But I have to say what happens with this one here is it will thicken up the trace a little bit. So don't pop it in until you're absolutely ready to use it. It looks like it gets thin, but then what happens within about 20 seconds, it starts thickening up in soap. It works really well, but you just have to have everything organized so that you're not going to make a mistake with this particular fragrance. It's beautiful, it's strong, and it's great for cold process, also candles. But like I said, you just need to know your fragrance to be able to work with it really well. Now, I wanted to show all of you my exciting mould. I am so excited to have this mould. I actually was lucky enough to be able to afford to purchase this. This is made from a man by the name of Vinny, and Vinny makes lots and lots of soap making products. So he's really amazing. He was lovely to deal with, I have to say that. And the silicone inside it is really, really good quality. So I'm really excited. I've often seen soap makers use these, and I always thought, oh, I really want one, but I just couldn't afford it until now. So that's what I always say. Don't stress. You can use anything to start with until you get up to that level and can really sort of afford buying the next mold. And it's really good too, because the sides just slip straight out, and then I can, just pull the mold out when it's ready. This one, I actually did too. So I used this big mold, and then I used one of my normal small molds. So this particular mix is 11 kilograms of soap, or 11,000 grams if we're going off grams. So all I'm doing is literally going between, so some of the plain mixture here that you can see, I'm just pouring in and out, and then I'm doing just, a bit of a drop swirl straight in there of, the beautiful burgundy, and then of course the activated charcoal. If you want activated charcoal to look really black, you do need to add extra, because just adding 1 tablespoon will not make it go black. It will be more grey. Lots of mine is grey, but I didn't care about that at all. So, just decide what you want. And then I've just got a chopstick to give it a bit of a swirl, just to mix it around a bit, because I didn't want big blobs of anything. And the one thing as well, when you're working with clays, activated charcoal, and some micas, if you're heavy on the mica or activated charcoal, they will thicken up quite fast. It won't be like the rest of your mix. So a lot of my other mix in here definitely did not thicken up like the other ones did. So you just kind of got to be careful with that, and try and make sure getting them all to the right consistency. And if it looks really thick, give it a bit of a mix up in the container. Sometimes that will loosen it a tiny bit, but you can see here how the blacks are definitely much thicker than the rest of the mix, and that is just the activated charcoal doing its bit, and it will always thicken things up. But don't worry too much about that at all. But it was so much fun using this mold. Now, you can see here at the end, this is what I decided to do. I did a bit of a textured top, which I never, ever do. Lots of you know that I really don't do these textured tops, but I thought, look, this one just needed it. And of course, I decided, well, I have to add some biodegradable glitter, which I definitely added to that. So if you can see this, it's like a night sparkle. It's actually a silver glitter over the top, which I did get some time ago. And then here I've also made some embeds. All my embeds are made with soap dough, and the soap dough is this same recipe that I'm giving to you with this particular one here. It's exactly the same. All you do is you just put any leftover mixture in a plastic bag, seal it up into a container so no air gets to it. Wait a couple days, and then it's good to go. So it's a really, really good one. And now all I'm doing is I'm just putting a little bit of some grey on the top, because what I wanted to do is pop this on the top so that I can push in the little raspberry embeds that I've made. And I know it's not really thick enough, but I thought, look, this is fine. I just really wanted a line, so it did not need to be super thick or anything like that. And obviously where the lines are, that's kind of the middle of my mold. So that way, when I pop everything onto this as well and I cut it, it will kind of be centered in the center of that a bit. So do make sure that you're thinking about that when you're doing this, because you don't want to be cutting any little bits off. If any of you are actually wondering why I am doing the voiceover in my last few videos, it's because something has happened to the sound on my phone. I do record pretty much everything on an iPhone Pro Max, which I think is like a 12 Pro Max. And unfortunately, I'm not sure what's happened, but sometimes it like skips something or it lowers the sound up and down. And I just thought that was really annoying for all of you to listen to. So I decided just to do the voiceover over the top until I can get back into the shop to see what's happening with my phone. I've checked that it doesn't have soap or anything like that in it, and all the speakers are clean and everything, so I'm not sure why. But anyway, that's why I'm actually doing the voiceover. But sometimes the voiceover is good because there's things that I'll think about talking about that I might not have thought before, and that's why I also did at the start of the video talk a little bit about sometimes how you can get lye heavy and things like that. And these are all a part of learning to make soap. So, you know, don't sort of hate yourself if anything goes wrong. It's all a part of doing it. When I first started making soap, nothing went wrong at all. But I will tell you something. When you're making palm-free soap, it is definitely harder than making it when you've got the palm in it, because the certified palm I used to use definitely does make a creamier bar and so on. But sometimes with the hard oils that I'm using now, the bar can get hard quite fast, which is kind of a good thing but a bad thing. It means you can't work with it as easily as well. So that's just one thing that I've personally noticed with the bars with the, you know, no palm in them. But of course, from now on, after I sell everything else that I've got, all of mine will become palm free, including my retail ones. At the moment, the palm free is more, you know, for my wholesale customers, because I know that's what they want. But I'm just getting rid of the other ones, and then I will, like I said, do those palm free as well. So now I've added the glitter on the top, and it is looking really, really gorgeous. And this mold that Vinny has made, it basically makes my molds be about my bars be about 9 centimeters tall, which is exactly perfect because that is the same height of the ones my husband made. And now the other thing that I've also got to do is obviously cut this down. So I'm not sure whether I will end up investing into a splitter or my husband will just make a splitter. He's going to have a go at it first because I really don't need the splitter a lot. But for this mold that Vinny's made, I definitely will need a splitter so that I can obviously split them. And then this mold that Vinny did as well, it will split into 4 bars for me because my bars are a little bit different to an average bar. And then I will have the side, a bit on the side. So the bit on the side is really good because that will actually become my samples that I give away, because I always give away samples to everyone ordering anything as well. And I've got some exciting news going forward. I'm actually going to be doing something super fun. I decided that anybody that is on my email list of, you know, on my website, which is nelsonsoapery.com, what I'm actually going to do is just randomly once a month I will give away something. I will just send it to one of those people and they won't know, but I will just send them a gift. So that's something nice anyway, isn't it? Just to give back a little bit. So once a month I will just randomly draw them out of the email list and send a little bit of a prezi to somebody, which I just think is a nice thing to do anyway. So I hope you have absolutely loved my video, and this section here of the video is day 2. I am actually come back out about 30 hours later just to show all of you what it looks like now, and then I'm also showing you how easy it is. So like I said, the sides just slip out, so they just you just pull them out from the mold, and then basically all you have is the silicone at each end, so you can push it from one end, and because it has the little feet on the bottom, the feet stop it moving sitting on the bench. So that was one good thing I liked. And then you can literally just push it out or pull it out of the top of the mold, which was really, really easy to do. So it really wasn't hard at all. I will get into a better rhythm of doing this because obviously this is the first one I've made with Vinny's new mold. But Vinny, if you're listening, thank you so much. I know your wife does listen and watch me. You did tell me that. So hello to you and thank you so much for joining in. And of course, thank you for helping us soapers and making these amazing products, which, so if anyone needs one, definitely go over there. Vinny has an Etsy store, so check him out. I'll pop a link on the bottom of this video so that everyone can go over there and check out his Etsy store and contact him as well. And even if you have the mold, they also do the silicone, which is good. So if your silicone breaks, don't worry. He'll, you can buy one from him and get that one out to you as well. So that's also something really, really good. So as you can see here, look how smooth the sides are. That's one thing I like about using silicone, because unfortunately, when you make your own ones and then, you use the paper on them to line them, no matter how careful you are, you still are going to get wrinkles on the side, which I really don't like. And the ones my husband made, because they're the exact size, I can't cut off anything on the side. So if there's a tiny wrinkle, I leave it on there. We all know this is handmade soap, and I don't pretend that everything is perfect, because it's not. Handmade soap is not meant to be 100% perfect. It's meant to look like we've made it by hand. But if it had really rough edges, of course, I would not sell that one. Of course, that one would just be given away. But anyway, like I said, it's all done and gorgeous. And now I'm up to the next step. I am going to go off and cut these bars off and make them gorgeous. But this is one from the separate mold I made just to show you how sweet it does look. And you can see it's starting to go that baby pink. But this, like I said, will take another week before it really does show its true baby pink color, that really muted sort of blushy light pink. And you can see it's starting to slowly do that reaction as well. And that's just the pink that I'm using. So yeah, so don't worry about that one too much, but it's a really, really beautiful pink. So that one's actually bubblegum pink, and that bubblegum pink is actually from Sud Off. And I've just used a very small amount of the bubblegum pink. I haven't used too much at all. But as I said, from here, what I'm going to do is I need to get the splitter, and I need to split this into the 4 sections as well. And then I will start cutting this one, and they'll go on the curing rack for my wholesale customers. And I am going to have some of these for retail as well. I haven't loaded them, but I promise the time this video comes out, I will have loaded these also, so you retail customers can get them, and they will be ready at the end of October, not October, the end of November, just in time for the Christmas rush. So yeah, anyway, but I think actually I've got one bar that is due before that, so I think that may be about the 15th of November. But anyway, I hope you've loved my video. If you have, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and make sure you pop on that subscribe button, and you will see all of the rest of my videos come out. And I'll pop on a video, a photo, just to show you at the end what it looks like. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.